Welcome back to another episode of VGX on the Hunt Roadshow, because we are headed out to a couple states in the Midwest to try and find some games. Right now we are going to head to Wisconsin, maybe get into Illinois tomorrow a little bit. Who knows where we go from there, wherever the wind takes us. As long as there's games blowing in that wind, we will be going that way. So, yeah, join us for the next few weeks in these videos and see what we find. Okay, we are in Madison, Wisconsin today, and the first stop that we made was at a Pawn America here in Madison. And if you watched our earlier videos, you know that Pawn America is pretty hit or miss. They can be pretty good, and they can be pretty bad, depending on who's pricing games. This one was kind of a swing and a miss on a lot of the stuff in there. Pretty overpriced, but there was a lot of 99-cent good deals. This was not one of them, but Star Wars Battlefront 2 for the Xbox fluctuates between $25 to sometimes $50 depending on the time of year. But yeah, with the new Battlefront coming out, this was one of the best ones. I like the second one better than the first one, but get it on the PlayStation because it's a lot cheaper. Might not control as better and might not look quite as good, but better than paying the $30 for it. Anyway, 18 bucks is a good price on that. We got a couple 99-cent specials, like I said. Lupin for the PlayStation 2. Now this one, I've only seen it maybe once or twice in the wild. I'm not sure how it ever made it to America in the first place. I'm guessing that it's a long-running anime in Japan. The character is kind of well beloved there. But at some point it must have made it to America. I don't know if it was like on Toonami or something at some point. But yeah, it made it here. I don't know how. Anyway, 99 cents, not a bad price. It's not worth much to begin with, but it's one you don't see very much. And then I did pick up a lot. It seemed like this place, if it was a racing game, it was 99 cents. So anything that wasn't NASCAR almost, I picked up some that were pretty hard to find. Some of them I've maybe never seen out in the wild, but 99 cents on those, pretty good, but overall nothing great. So we'll keep going. Okay, we're outside of a half-price books here on a rainy day in Wisconsin, and we found a few in there. Usually half-price books are pretty much right online with Amazon, eBay, all those prices online, because they also sell online, so it makes sense that they would be right in line. But I think they go off of past inventory a little bit on their prices, so we were able to score a few deals on games that have recently jumped in price lately. And one example, Metal Gear Acid 2. Don't know why. This one just jumped in price the last few months. Used to be a $10 game, but now you're looking at $20 or more, seems like. Godzilla Save the Earth? Yeah, that's what it is. Godzilla game for Xbox. I'm not sure why this one all of a sudden went through the roof. It used to be you could get it all day for under $10, maybe even a year ago. But now I paid $25 for this, and that's still a good deal now. It did reach up to, it seemed like $50, but I don't think it's quite that high anymore. And then Super Smash Bros. Melee for $30 used to be the regular price all day. You could buy it for $35. Not anymore. I don't know what is going on, if it's just the fervor of the new one coming out. But yeah, Melee has jumped up $40, $50 now. So if you find it, better pick it up, because someday you're going to want to play that game again, and you're going to be paying out the butt for it. And finally, a couple good Xbox RPGs. Morrowind, Game of the Year for 15 is a pretty good price, and Knights of the Old Republic for 10 is usually my buy price on that. For complete copies, those are both really good prices on them. So, yeah, we did pretty good at a half-price books. We'll see if that continues at the next one here today. Okay, we just got out of a used media shop called PrePlayed, which on our last trip we did really well at one of those, but this one was not good at all, because let me rant a little bit about stores like this where I think if you run a game store, you should you can sell it for eBay prices. That's fine. I mean, you have to pay rent. You might as well. I mean, that's what they're going for. Some people will probably go to eBay instead, and some people will probably shop with you because they like, a local atmosphere. But do not charge double what it goes for on eBay, on the internet, like this place. This place was absolutely insane. We're talking $70, $80 for Majora's Mask. And it just blows my mind that they can sit there and have 5 copies like that, all with the same price, and just let it sit there. They're not going to last long if they have a business like that, because, yeah, maybe one person comes in and buys that for that price. Well, you could have sold like all 5 of them for maybe over eBay prices. For Zelda, if you're running a store, I don't mind if you sell Zelda and Mario and all that a little bit higher than even the internet prices, because that's business and that's the way that works. More popular games are probably going to be higher priced. That's just the way it is. But not over double like this. It's ridiculous to expect a customer to pay that. I didn't even look very much at most of the games. They were pretty consistent even in like PS2 era, where a lot of stores like this maybe miss some stuff. But even those were probably 50% more than internet. And it's like, why would anybody pay that? Why? I don't get it. And for those type of prices, the trade-in prices better be pretty damn good. That's all I have to say. Otherwise, that big of a margin and markup is a little ridiculous, no matter what kind of rent you're paying. It's not a very good business model at all. So that's my rant on stores like that. You often see those type of stores in a mall trying to catch the traffic there, but you rarely see them in a strip mall like this. Like I was saying, our last PrePlayed we went to was mostly internet prices, which is fine, and we actually did very, very well there with a certain Mega Man game that I think was wrongly priced. But even so, I would gladly shop at that other one than this one. Not ever again will I step foot in this store, and that's just the way it's going to be. So yeah, there's another one in town, and we're not going to go to it because my guess would be it's the same owner, and they do the same type of thing. So you lost out on business when you could have maybe got a lot of mine, but not today. Okay, we just got out of a place called Video Game Exchange here in Madison, Wisconsin, and it could not be any more complete opposite of that last place that I kind of went off on. This place, the prices were a little high, but what they do, and I've seen this in a lot of other video game stores, what they want you to do is it's a buy one, get one 50% off, or a lot of times you'll see a buy two, get one free. So if you only come in for one game, you're probably going to pay more than internet price. But if you buy, two, you get 1.5 off. It's pretty much right at that internet price, maybe a little bit lower. But what this place has that the last place didn't. That PrePlayed place was pretty bare bones, just kind of not had no flavor to it. It was just, here's some used media, buy it. This place, I don't know if this was always here, always saw in video games or not, but there is a almost like a complete World of Nintendo set in there. Whole bunch of the cabinets, whole bunch of banners, whole bunch of stuff like that. Even like a kiosk for Super Nintendo on one side and Game Boy on the other side, which I've never seen. It's like a big CRT screen, but it was green, just like the original Game Boy was. So something you're never gonna see anywhere else. I mean, you probably could find one, but you'd really have to go pretty far. And I just walked right in to see that. The last time I was here, I think this was the place I was at. He had a complete, well, maybe not complete, but complete license, I should say, Nintendo NES set in a glass case. And you could kind of just walk around this glass case, see them all in there. It was really cool. I don't blame them for selling, if this was the place, I don't blame them for selling that all off, because those prices went through the roof, and you can get a pretty penny for a complete set nowadays. But yeah, this place, along with all the World Nintendo stuff, a lot of displays, like really cool Dark Cloud 2 display, just stuff that you wouldn't see anymore. It was probably thrown out at GameStop many years ago. All the game stores threw that stuff away. This still had it. Even on top, they had lunch boxes, a whole bunch of memorabilia. I think every single video game board game that was made, Milton Bradley put out quite a few of them. And you see those, the Mario one and the Pac-Man and the Frogger. You see that one. I never knew they made a Berserk one. I'd love to play that game. I wonder how that even works on a board. But yeah, really cool. Donkey Kong Country Pogs. Like, you can't make that stuff up. Just really cool to see. I would never play that. Sorry. Anyway. Cool place. Video Game Exchange, Madison, Wisconsin. If you're in town, check that place out. Even if you don't have any money in your pocket, just kind of look around. Because I'm sure they like loiterers. Probably not, but if you add that type of stuff to your store, you're going to attract some people that just kind of like the atmosphere. And I liked it quite a bit. If I lived in this town, this would be my store. I would pay the extra money above GameStop or whatever just to buy from this place, because these are the places that you need to support. The local mom and pop places. Awesome place. Video Game Exchange, check it out. Okay, we made it to Janesville, Wisconsin, and we are sitting outside of a Shopko. And you probably know this already, but Shopko has some pretty good clearance on some video games sometimes. While we probably won't be getting the ones that, like we did last trip, where we were running across Fire Emblem Awakening and Kid Icarus all day long, which are excellent. We're probably going to find more older stuff, maybe. Maybe some newer stuff that's really not that compelling to buy. Anyway, what we ended up getting today was Lost in Shadow for the Wii for $9. And that is definitely something that you want to pick up if you could get a chance, because this is going to be one of those games that people are going to come back to the Wii and be like, well, what games did I miss? And what games were really interesting? And this fits right into that category. A lot of it is a platforming on shadows. So it kind of does a parallax scrolling where the things are in the forefront, but you are the shadow, so you're jumping on all these object shadows. Really cool idea. The combat was not so good in it, but I think I put my money on it that, well, I did put the money on it, that one of these games will end up being one of those that are kind of treasured once the Wii gets kind of in that collectible era where people somewhat grew up with it and kind of want to look back at it. So yeah, Lost in Shadow is a good one to check out. And the other one is Pokemon Black for the DS for $21. Pokemon is always popular, always sell, always in huge demand, and eventually every generation sells out and you can't find it anymore. A couple years ago you could still find Pokemon Diamond, Pearl, Platinum here and there, but they're gone. You can't find those anywhere. And likewise, if you want a brand new copy of them, price goes way up. And the same goes for this. So the next one out was Pokemon Black and White, and most stores that you go into, those are not there. Black and White 2, seems like they made a lot of them, and maybe the demand wasn't quite as strong for that one. There's still a lot of those around. I think that might be the first one where demand for it kind of falls off on it, on that particular one. X and Y, I think, will end up being pretty strong again. But if you do find Black and White for a good price, they are starting to go up in price because if you want a new copy, you can't just go down to the local store anymore. So that's why we picked up one. So yeah, Shopko did not too bad, not as good as last trip, but you really can't complain. So yeah, we're gonna keep going. Okay, I just got out of a Toys R Us here in Janesville, and periodically we do pretty well at them and then not so well the next time. But right now they're running a pretty good deal on clearance where you get I would say most of the games were 60% off the clearance price even. So a lot of times Toys R Us clearance prices are not that much off. They might take $5, $10 off, and most of the time you can still get a new copy on Amazon for much cheaper. But they do run some good deals sometimes, and we always check it out. So right now, because of that 60% off, we got Okami Den for Nintendo DS. Not the greatest deal, but I'm trying to find out if this is the original print copy of this game. Okami Den was a huge collectible on the Nintendo DS at one point, and like a lot of games nowadays, especially Atlas, I do not consider Atlas a collectible company anymore because they will reprint anything with demand, which is good. I mean, the whole point is for people to play these games, and I think that is a good thing. The people that buy new games, sit on them, are probably not there to play the games, and it is unfortunate that they kind of lose out on their investment. I don't know if I want to call it that, but that's probably the way they see that. But yeah, if you had a new sealed Okami Den probably 2 years ago, you were sitting $80, $90, maybe even more than that. But Capcom has since reprinted it, and now it's $15, $20 game. So we didn't get a heck of a deal. We got a couple bucks off of it, but it's nice to have because I am a huge Okami fan. Have not played this one, so I might check it out. So yeah, if you see this in time, in a reasonable amount of time, you might be able to get into Toys R Us and get a hold of that clearance deal. There wasn't much on there, not a lot of kids games that were on clearance, but might as well check it out, right? Okay, we stopped at a local pawn shop called Casey's Pawn Shop here in Janesville and picked up a couple older games, not retro. They did have some retro, but they were pretty picked over. Pretty much just sports games left there. Anyway, Ape Escape 2 for $5. Hard to find those Ape Escape games anymore. And Pinball Hall of Fame Gottlieb Collection for Wii. This one is harder to find than the Williams one. The Williams one is pretty much worthless unless it is on PS3. If you find that one on PS3, get it. The Gottlieb one on Wii, get that one. I think maybe the Gottlieb one, this might be the only platform this came out for. I'm trying to remember if it came out for PS2 or not. But anyway, $8 is not a bad price, as it's probably like a $15 game. So, yeah, just keep your eyes open for that. Just make sure you pick up the right one. Okay, we are in Rockford, Illinois now, and we just came out of a local game shop called Game World. And I have to say, they're pretty decent on prices, have a ton of selection. You can tell they've been doing this for a long, long time because I've never seen such a stack of Sega sports games in my life. But at some point, why wouldn't you just take them off the shelf or use them for target practice or something? Who knows? They just take up too much space at that point. But yeah, Zelda, Mario, Nintendo stuff is a little bit higher, but that's pretty much expected nowadays. But they had a lot of cool stuff in there, a few arcade games to play, some really rare stuff too. A lot of NES imports. I guess I wouldn't say imports, they are illegally bootleg ROMs of games all on one. Like, it was like 190 on one. I know nothing about those, and I don't know. It's kind of the Wild West there that nobody really knows what's what with that stuff. And they were charging a ton, like $150 for each cart, which I thought was maybe a little ridiculous, but maybe it's a good deal. I know nothing about that stuff. The one that did spark my interest quite a bit was a Donkey Kong Country for the Super Nintendo, but it was the not-for-resale pack-in. And I'm not sure when that actually happened, if it was a pack-in with the console itself or something else, maybe an accessory. But that's usually what that not-for-resale thing is. I've never seen one out in the wild. This is the first one I've seen in a store. I've heard of them. I know they're very rare. But they were charging $150, and I think that's a pretty fair price, actually. But obviously, it's way more than what we're looking to spend. But they also had a bunch of games that are kind of not well known, but also very good collector's games, somewhat hard to find too, and good prices on them. So, Coliseum PS2 for $10. Pick that one up if you can. That one's a pretty good one. Jade Cocoon 2. I've never played this series. The first one's on the PlayStation 1, but I've never played this. I think they're RPGs. Pretty sure they are. But yeah, $16 isn't bad. It's usually about a $20 game. And then we're getting into the insane deals, where you got Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee, which is just a Godzilla game. And like I was talking earlier, how Godzilla games have just jumped in price. Same thing with GameCube. So it's kind of a match made in heaven as far as this game's concerned, because the platform and the game itself are both in demand. And then we come to a couple that have a bunch of stickers on them, so they sat there a while and they didn't know why it wasn't selling, so they just dropped the price. I'm actually pretty surprised that they hadn't sold, because Phantom Dust for the Xbox by now is pretty well liked, pretty well reminisced about. So I'm surprised that at some point somebody didn't come on and pick that up with hearing that. If it just came out, I understand, but at this point a lot of people have talked about Phantom Dust and clamoring for a second one, actually, which I wouldn't mind. But yeah, surprised that one sat there for as long as it did, and then eventually down to $3. Same thing for Ultimate Shooting Collection for the Wii is a $1.99, $1.99. Which I don't know much about this, but I have heard that it is pretty good for a Wii game. I don't know if it's really up there with all those Xbox 360 shooters and all that, but at the end of the day, a shooter is a shooter, and you're getting, what is it, 3 shooters in here for $2. A really good deal. I think this will be one of those Wii games that will be sought after at some point too, because shooters on a Wii, shoot 'em up, I should say. Just to be clear, the shooter term has turned into first-person shooter and not so much the ship shooters like the old days. But anyway, this one I think will be sought after at some point because of the rarity of the genre on the Wii. I do find this one new every once in a while, and I try to pick it up because I have heard it's also a very good game. I've not played it, but yeah, $2. I mean, it could be any game, and it could be worth it. So that's what we found in Game Worlds here in Rockford, Illinois. I would recommend going there if you're there. If you're around the area, it is a very good shop. Okay, we just hopped into a store here in Rockford called Game Corner, and I can't say I'm that impressed. It is a corner of a store, of a building, I should say. Not very big at all, and it was filled with pretty much garbage. I won't say garbage. I mean, everybody likes certain games, but I will say they took a pile of games that they had, and it seemed like they just took anything that was maybe over $5 or $10 on eBay, and they just put it on. They probably put it on eBay, and the remnants are the rest of that store. They did have one glass case up front that had a lot of the more popular stuff, a lot of more rare stuff, but nothing extremely hard to find or anything real extravagant up there. I did find Dark Alliance 2 for $25. That's a pretty decent price on that game, and I think that is the only one in that whole store that was decent. Not to say that it's a bad store. It just was a lot of looking through junk that I was not interested in, and once I got up to the case that I saw the games that I kind of wanted, they were pretty overpriced. But you gotta pay rent. It's in a high traffic area, so maybe they've just sold through all that good stuff that they had. I don't know. But usually when I see that on the road and in my travels, I usually think, well, they sell a lot of their stuff online because you can tell whatever stuff that's on the shelves and what they have left are not stuff that sells online. So yeah, we'll keep on going. I would maybe not recommend that store. If you're in the area, don't really waste your time there. You're better off going to Game World like I was just at before. So, yeah. Okay, we just came out of a game store called, what is it? Bagel Video and Games. I'm not sure what it means, but they do mostly video rentals, but also some games and stuff. Kind of a used game store, too. They were running a buy 2, get 1 free on PS2, GameCube, and Xbox. So we did pick up Mario Kart Double Dash and Super Smash Bros. Melee. Both $25 a piece. Very good deals, especially on Melee. Like I was saying earlier today, that has really climbed in price, really hard to find. We got a bunch of PS2 RPGs along with that. And for Super Nintendo, Rocco's Modern Life in kind of rough shape, but I've always wanted to try it. It was pretty cheap, so that's why it's here.